The stars were quiet that night in Sector 9. The alien fleet from the planet Varnock moved slowly through the dark part of space. Their ships were large, smooth, and silent, made for deep space travel. Commander Zarn sat in his chair, watching the screen. Everything had been normal until now. Then a strange signal appeared. Loud, steady, and unknown. It was not from any planet or ship they had ever seen. The signal came from a place they called the Black Echo, a dead zone where no ship ever returned. For years, no one dared to enter. But Commander Zarn was not like others. He believed in finding the truth even if it meant danger. The signal was strong and clear. It didn't change. It just repeated one word in a deep, strange voice. Approach. The crew looked at each other. They were nervous. No one spoke for a while. Then Zarn gave the order. Take us in. The ship turned slowly and entered the Black Echo. As soon as they crossed the line, everything changed. The stars outside vanished. The space turned darker, almost black like ink. All scanners started to fail. Lights flickered. One of the crew shouted, "Commander, we're losing contact with the fleet." Zarn stayed calm. He told the crew to focus. Stay on course, do not panic. 10 minutes later, the crew saw something huge in the distance. At first, it looked like a broken moon. But as they moved closer, the object started to take shape. It was not a moon. It was a ship. No, bigger than a ship. Much bigger. It was floating in the dark, silent and still. No lights, no sound. But they could feel it. Even from far away, they could feel its power. One of the officers whispered, "That's not one of ours." Another added, "I've never seen anything like it." The alien scanners could not read it. The ship had a black surface, smooth and sharp, like it was made from living metal. Strange symbols ran across its side, glowing faintly in red. It had no flags, no known marks. But one thing was clear. It was not from any alien race they knew. It was something else. Something different. Something older. Commander Zarn ordered a scout ship to move closer. The small ship left the main cruiser and flew toward the dark warship. Everyone watched the screen. The scout moved slowly, sending back images. As it got closer, the signal began to crack. Then it stopped. Silence. The scout was gone, just like that. No sound, no explosion, no trace. Fear spread across the alien crew. "Commander, we must leave," one officer said. "This thing, it's too powerful." But Zarn was curious. "No," he said. "We wait. Let's see what it does." Then, something happened. The dark ship moved. Just a little. Its lights came on, glowing like fire underwater, and then a message appeared on their screen. It was a simple message written in strange letters. The ship translated it. It said, "Turn back," or "Face extinction." Everyone froze. The voice was calm, deep, not angry, but it held power. Warning. Zarn leaned forward. "Who are they?" he asked softly. No one answered. One of the younger crew members looked at the screen, pale and shaking. He said, "Commander, I think it's human." The whole room went silent. Humans? The Varnock had heard stories. Long ago, humans had vanished after a great war. Some said they destroyed themselves. Some said they went beyond the stars. No one had seen a human in centuries. Now, suddenly, a human warship was here, in their space in the Black Echo. Zarn could feel the weight of the moment. This was history. First contact, or maybe last contact. He looked at the screen again. The human warship was not moving now, but its weapons were online. Bright red lights glowed across its sides. It looked like it was ready for war, but waiting, watching, daring them to act. The alien crew was scared. Even Zarn felt something deep in his chest, something he had never felt before. Not fear. Not just that. It was something more. Respect. The kind of respect one gives to a giant before it wakes up. He stood up, slowly. "We do not attack," he said. "Not yet. We wait. We learn." But inside, even he didn't know what would happen next. Were the humans back? Were they angry? Were they warning them or protecting something? One thing was clear. This was not just a warship. It was a message. Message from a species no one had seen in hundreds of years. A message that said, "We're still here." The alien warship floated in silence. No one on the Varnock ship spoke. The screen still showed the human message. "Turn back. Or face extinction." Commander Zarn stared at it. The letters were strange but strong. Simple words but full of power. He had never seen such a clear warning. His crew waited for him to say something. But for the first time, Zarn didn't know what to say. His mind was full of questions. Were humans alive? Were they planning something? Why now after so many years of silence? One of the officers broke the silence. "Commander, I suggest we leave. This ship, it's dangerous. We've already lost one scout. If we stay, we may lose more," another voice added. "We don't even know how strong they are." Zarn looked around the room. His crew was nervous. Even the bravest ones looked unsure. He could feel their fear, but he also felt something else. Curiosity. This ship had a story, and he wanted to know it. "No," he finally said. "We stay, but we do not provoke." He turned to his second-in-command. "Send a message. Ask them who they are. Ask why they're here." The officer nodded and typed the message. It was short and respectful. The screen blinked. The message was sent. Everyone waited. Seconds passed, then minutes. No reply, just silence. The human ship didn't move. It didn't shoot, but it didn't answer either. It was like waiting in front of a sleeping dragon. Then, without warning, the lights inside the human ship changed. A bright blue glow spread across its body. The alien ship's alarm started to beep. Energy levels rising. Someone shouted, "They're powering something." Commander Zarn stood quickly. "Shields up. No weapons, just defense." The alien warship raised its energy shields. Everyone braced for attack. But the attack never came. Instead, a second message appeared on their screen. This time, it was a video. The crew stared as an image slowly formed. A face, human, pale skin, strong eyes, gray hair, wearing dark armor. The voice that followed was calm but firm. "I am Admiral Reese Carter of the Human Vanguard Fleet," the man said. "This area is under silent watch. Your presence has been noted. You will not be harmed, unless you cross the line." "Commander," Zarn stepped forward. He had never seen a human before, not in real life. The man's eyes looked cold, but not evil. He looked like someone who had seen too many wars. Zarn replied with respect. "I am Commander Zarn of the Varnock Empire. We did not know this area was claimed. We only followed a signal. We mean no harm." The screen paused. Then Admiral Carter's face returned. "The signal was a test. Few respond. Fewer survive. You passed the first step. Now turn back. This zone is not for you." The crew didn't know what to say. A test? What kind of test? Why would humans leave a trap like this in deep space? Zarn felt his heart beat faster. He asked, "Why are you here? The galaxy believes humans are gone. Are you alone?" The Admiral's eyes narrowed. "We are never alone. We are watching. We are waiting. The galaxy forgot us. That was the plan." Then the screen turned black. No more video, no more voice. Just darkness again. The alien crew sat in silence. What had they just seen? The human was clear. They didn't want visitors. But they also didn't attack. It was like they were guarding something or testing something. Commander Zarn looked at his team. "We must record everything. This is history." The communications officer spoke next. "Commander, Should we report this to the Varnock High Council? Zarn nodded. Yes, but not everything. Not yet. We tell them we found something powerful, a warship, but we leave out the humans. For now. The officer looked surprised but obeyed. As the alien ship turned around to leave, the human warship remained still, watching, quiet, like a ghost from the past. Zarn looked at it one last time. He whispered to himself, "What are you hiding out here?" No one had answers, but everyone knew one thing. The humans were not gone. They were in the shadows, waiting for the right time, and when that time came, the galaxy would remember why it feared them. As the Varnock ship left the Black Echo, the human warship slowly faded into the darkness again. No one followed. No one chased. But deep inside, every alien on board knew they had just witnessed something important, something powerful, something that would change the future. And the signal? It kept playing. For the next traveler, the same voice, the same word, approach. The Varnock ship moved away from the Black Echo, silent and slow. No one on board spoke much. The faces of the crew were still filled with shock. The image of the human warship stayed in their minds. Big, silent, deadly, but also calm. Like it had no fear. Like it knew everything. Commander Zarn sat in his chair watching the screen behind him. The stars looked normal again, but inside, nothing felt normal anymore. One young crew member named Farron looked pale. He whispered to his friend, "They didn't attack us, they could have, but they didn't, why?" His friend shook his head. "Maybe they didn't see us as a threat. Maybe we were too small for them to care." That thought made Farron feel even worse. Commander Zarn was in his private room, staring at a file. It had the image of Admiral Reese Carter, the human who spoke to them. Zarn kept replaying his words. The galaxy forgot us. That was the plan. What did that mean? Why would humans want to disappear? And now, why were they coming back? The next morning, Zarn received a secret message. It came from the Varnock High Council. They had read his report. They wanted him back at base. He was ordered not to speak of the human part to anyone else, not even his crew. That made Zarn nervous. If the council wanted silence, it meant they were afraid. Or maybe they knew more than they told. But before they could leave the sector completely, a new signal came. Not from the human warship. This one was weaker, broken, like an old message stuck in a loop. The voice was alien. Varnock. An old call for help. Mayday. This is research ship VSS Trinal. We are trapped. Engine failure. Coordinates. Follow. Then static. Then silence. The crew looked shocked. VSS Trinal was a research ship that went missing 5 years ago. Inside the Black Echo. Everyone believed it was lost forever. No one survived. But this message changed everything. Commander Zarn stood quickly. Trace that signal. I want its exact location. The tech team worked fast. Within minutes, they had a position. It was just outside the edge of the dark zone. Maybe still close to the human warship, maybe not. But it was clear the ship was real. Or at least, it had been. "Commander," said the second in command, "if there are survivors, we must try to help. But what if the humans see us again? They told us to leave." Zarn nodded slowly. "I know. But we can't ignore our people. We will move quietly. No weapons, no scanners. Just one ship." The rescue mission began. Zarn took only a small crew, with him in a scout ship. They followed the weak signal carefully, avoiding anything that looked like a sensor trap. As they neared the last known spot of the Trinal, they saw something in the distance. A small ship, floating sideways, covered in black dust and ice. It looked dead. They moved closer. The hull was damaged, One side had deep marks, like it had been cut by something sharp. The engines were off, lights dim, but the signal was still, coming from inside. "Is anyone alive?" Zarn asked through the comms. "This is Commander Zarn of the Varnock fleet. We are here to help." No answer. They docked. Zarn and 2 officers entered the old ship. It smelled of rust and frozen air. The hallways were dark, silent. The crew walked carefully, weapons down, lights on. They found broken chairs, cracked screens, old food packs, but no people. Then they reached the control room. It was half open. Inside, they found something strange. A body, Varnock frozen, sitting at the main desk. One hand was still on the button. Next to him was a note scratched into the metal with a tool. 3 words. "They saved us." Zarn felt cold. He checked the computer logs. Most were damaged, but one file opened. It showed a video, short and blurry. A Varnock scientist was speaking, scared. "Engines dead, drifting, strange ship appeared. We thought it would kill us, but it didn't. They repaired our oxygen, gave us food, then vanished. We don't know why, but they were human." Then the video cut. Zarn stood in silence. The crew looked at him, confused. Commander once said, "Why would the humans help them?" Zarn shook his head. "I don't know. Maybe they're not what we think. Maybe they're watching, but not as enemies." They left the broken ship. There were no other survivors. But the message was clear. Humans had been there before. They had seen a dying crew and chose to save them. No reward, no message, just action. As Zarn returned to his ship, he looked back at the dark part of space. The Black Echo, the place where silence lived. But now he knew. Something lived. Inside that silence, something powerful and maybe something kind. But one question stayed in his mind. Why are the humans helping? And what are they waiting for? Commander Zarn sat alone in his room. The lights were dim, the air was still. He kept staring at the metal plate from the old research ship. The 3 words were carved deep. They saved us. That message was now burned into his mind. It didn't match the fear the galaxy had about humans. The galaxy believed humans were dangerous, ruthless, even extinct. But this story, this truth, was different. Outside his room, the crew continued their tasks. But something had changed. No one joked, no one laughed. Everyone was thinking the same thing. The humans were back and they were watching. But no one knew why. Zarn finally walked to the command bridge. He called a meeting. His senior officers stood in a circle, waiting. "We are not going home yet," he said calmly. Some looked surprised. "Commander, the High Council gave strict orders." One officer began. Zarn raised a hand. "I know. But they don't have the full truth. We do. We saw the human warship. We found the message from the Trinal. And now, we stay. Not to fight, but to understand." There was silence. Then his second-in-command, Officer Drell, spoke up. "You believe the humans are testing us?" Zarn nodded. "Yes, or maybe guiding us. Either way, something is not right. This is not just a patrol, this is history." They returned to the edge of the Black Echo, carefully. The human ship was still there. No movement, no sound, just watching, like before. But this time, Zarn didn't send a message. He waited. He set up a long-range scan, passive, not aggressive. The scan picked up something strange. Behind the human warship was a cluster of strange objects, not ships, not rocks. It looked like ruins. Ancient, giant structures, floating in silence. Some were broken, others still glowing faintly, like an old space city. A graveyard. "What is that?" one crew member asked. "Zoom in," Zarn ordered. The image sharpened. The ruins were clearly not made by humans. The design was old, curved, and elegant, a style no Varnock had ever seen before. Some walls had markings, symbols, unknown, alien, to both human and Varnock tech. Suddenly, a blinking light appeared in the center of the ruins. Just one small signal. A beacon. Quiet, but active. That's not from the human ship, the technician said. It's older. Very old. Zarn stared at it. It's calling someone. Then the human warship moved. Everyone on the Varnock ship jumped in shock. For days, the human ship had remained still, but now it turned slowly, its front side pointing away from the ruins and toward them. Energy levels rising, an officer shouted. Shields up? Zarn shook his head. No, don't move, just watch. The human ship stopped after turning. A new message appeared, simple, clear. Not everything here is human, be careful. Everyone froze. The humans weren't threatening them, they were warning them. Commander, Drell whispered, you think those ruins, they belong to someone else? Zarn's eyes were sharp. Yes, someone older, maybe someone dangerous. He took a deep breath. Prepare a probe. I want it sent into the ruins. Silent mode only, no weapons. They launched a small silver probe. It flew slowly toward the ruins. No response from the human ship. As the probe entered the ruins, the signal became stronger. Inside the biggest structure, the probe found something shocking. A pod, still powered. And inside the pod, a body, not human, not Varnock. It had long arms, sharp bones, no mouth, and glowing yellow eyes behind a sealed glass. Its body was thin, almost dead-looking. But the life signs were still there. It was asleep. What is that? A crew member whispered. Zarn stared in silence. Something old. Something sleeping. Just then, the pod's lights changed. The probe had triggered something. No, Zarn shouted. Pull the probe back. Too late. A sudden energy spike hit the probe. It broke apart in seconds. The screen went black. The Varnock ship shook slightly. The beacon inside the ruins turned red, and now the human ship moved again, fast, straight toward the ruins. A voice message followed. This time it was Admiral Reese Carter again. His face appeared angry but calm. You were warned. That species has slept for thousands of years. They are not allies. We stay here to keep them locked away. This is not your war. Leave. Well, you still can. Then the screen went dark. Zarn stood frozen. His crew was panicking. Some shouted to retreat. Others asked to fire. But Zarn raised his hand. No, he said. We've seen too much. We need answers, real ones. But deep in his heart, he felt it too. Something terrible had just been touched. Something that humans had locked away long ago. A sleeping force. A dark secret. Now awake. Commander Zarn's heart pounded as the warning faded from the screen. The message was clear. Leave, while you still can. But leaving was not an option anymore. Too much had been discovered, and too many questions burned in his mind. The sleeping creature in the pod, the ruins, the human warship guarding them. This was something beyond anything Zarn had ever imagined. The crew was restless. Some wanted to follow the Admiral's orders and retreat immediately. Others believed they should stay and learn more. Zarn stood firm. We came here to understand, not to run away, he said. We will stay, but we must be careful. He ordered the ship to hold position near the ruins but keep all weapons ready. Scanners focused on the area around the pod. The human warship remained close, its massive silhouette a constant reminder of their presence. Suddenly, the silence broke. The pod's red beacon flashed rapidly. The sensors detected a wave of energy spreading from the ruins. It was weak but growing fast. The air inside the Varnock ship grew tense. The crew looked to Zarn, waiting for orders. Zarn nodded. Activate shields. Prepare for possible attack. The ship's systems hummed as shields went up. Everyone gripped, their stations tightly. Then from the ruins, a deep rumble echoed through space. The pod's glass cracked. Inside, the sleeping creature moved. Its yellow eyes opened slowly. It looked around with a cold, sharp gaze that pierced the darkness. The alien creature inside the pod was ancient. Its skin was pale and rough, like cracked stone. Its long fingers curled into fists. It had been asleep for thousands of years, trapped and forgotten in the ruins. Now it was awake. "Commander," a technician whispered. "It's alive, and it's coming out." Zarn watched in silence as the pod began to open. Energy sparks flew from the damaged glass. The creature stretched, pushing the broken cover aside. It floated out slowly, using no visible legs or wings, but moved with a strange, quiet force. The Varnock crew gasped. None of them had ever seen anything like this. The creature's eyes glowed brighter. It looked right at the Varnock ship. Without warning, the creature raised a hand. A beam of energy shot toward the ruins, lighting up the dark space around them. The ancient ruins started to shift and move. Walls creaked, giant doors opened, and strange machines inside began to hum. The energy wave hit the Varnock ship. The shields flickered but held strong. The crew braced themselves. Something big was happening. Then the human warship moved. It flew quickly toward the creature, positioning itself between it and the Varnock ship. A voice came through the comms. "Admiral, Reese Carter again." "You don't understand," the Admiral said firmly. "That creature is a danger to all life in this sector. It was locked away by humans for a reason. It cannot be allowed to leave. We guard this place. We protect the galaxy." Zarn realized the humans were not only watchers but jailers. They held the power to keep this ancient being trapped. But why? What had it done before it was locked away? Before Zarn could answer, the creature suddenly turned toward the human ship. It let out a strange sound, like a low, haunting cry. The human warship's lights flashed brightly. It responded instantly with a strong beam of energy aimed directly at the creature. The beam hit the creature, but it didn't stop. Instead, it seemed to grow stronger, absorbing the energy. The creature's eyes glowed even more intensely. It reached out toward the human ship as if trying to grab it. Zarn watched, shocked. "It's feeding on their energy," he said. "The humans are trying to hold it back, but it's fighting." Suddenly, the Varnock ship's sensors detected a new signal, fast and strong. Another ship was approaching. It wasn't human. It wasn't Varnock. It was a third, unknown alien race. "Commander, new ship incoming," shouted the lookout. "They're heavily armed. They're moving in fast." Zarn turned to the screen. The new ship looked fierce, covered in spikes and weapons. Its colors were dark red and black. It moved like a predator. The new ship sent a message. Simple but cold. "We want the creature. Release it, or we will take it by force." Zarn felt the tension rise. Now there were three groups: Varnock, humans, and this new alien race, all watching the ancient creature. The creature itself seemed calm, waiting, like a king about to rise. Zarn knew one thing for sure: the balance of power in this sector was about to change forever. He looked at his crew. "Prepare for battle, but try to avoid it if you can. We need to survive this." The countdown to war had begun. Commander Zarn's hands tightened on the console as the new alien warship drew closer. Its dark red hull gleamed with weapons ready to fire. The unknown ship moved fast, like a hunter ready to strike. The Varnock crew could feel the danger in the air. This was no ordinary visitor. It was a predator. "Shields at full power," Zarn ordered. "Prepare all weapons, but keep scanning for any chance to avoid battle." The human warship stayed close to the ruins, blocking the ancient creature from moving freely. Its massive size was a shield against the new alien threat. The human ship's lights pulsed like a heartbeat, strong and steady. Zarn's mind raced. The humans had warned them to leave. Now, they were the first defense line against this new enemy. Somehow humans were protecting everyone, even the dangerous creature. The creature itself floated silently, watching the approaching ships. Its yellow eyes burned with power. It seemed calm but alert. Suddenly, the unknown alien ship sent a message again, more aggressive this time. "Release the creature or we destroy you all." Zarn turned to his crew. "We cannot let that happen. The humans are our allies now, even if we don't fully understand them. Hold your fire until I give the order. The alien ship fired first. Bright energy bolts shot through space toward the human warship. The human ship's shields glowed brightly, blocking the attack without damage. Then, without warning, the human warship fired back. A powerful beam of blue energy cut through the darkness, hitting the enemy ship. The Varnock crew gasped. The power of the human ship was incredible. The enemy ship shuddered, but it did not retreat. Zarn knew this battle would not be easy. The unknown alien ship fired, again and this time at the Varnock ship. Energy blasts shook the hull. Alarms rang. The crew rushed to repair damage. "Commander, shields weakening," shouted the engineer. Zarn shouted back, "Hold! Divert all power to shields!" The Varnock ship rocked, but held. Meanwhile, the ancient creature in the ruins began to move. Its arms stretched out and strange glowing symbols appeared around it, lighting up the ruins like a storm. The creature's power was growing. It was feeding on the battle, on the energy around it. Zarn looked at the human warship's screen. Admiral Reese Carter's face appeared again, calm but fierce. "We hold the line here," the admiral said. "You must decide. Join us or run." Zarn made his choice. "We stand with the humans," he said. "Prepare to support them." The Varnock ship fired its weapons at the enemy ship. Blasts hit the dark red hull, making it shake. The battle was on. The creature's energy wave suddenly burst out, hitting both ships. It was like a shockwave. The Varnock and human ships rocked violently. Crew members were thrown off their feet. Zarn shouted, "Brace for impact!" The creature's power was too strong. It wanted freedom. It wanted to destroy all who tried to hold it back. The enemy alien ship took advantage of the chaos. It moved closer, firing fast and hard. Zarn and the human admiral fought side by side. The human ship's weapons were powerful, but the Varnock ship's crew showed courage and skill. Together they pushed back the enemy. But the creature was still rising. Suddenly, the creature's arms reached out toward both ships, firing energy beams. The beams hit the human ship, breaking its shields. Warning alarms sounded. The human ship's weapons went offline. Zarn saw the danger. "We must protect the human ship," he shouted. "All power to weapons, fire at the creature." The Varnock ship fired everything it had at the ancient creature. The beams hit its body, making it roar. In pain, the creature paused. It looked angry but hurt. Then a strange sound came from the creature, a sound like a cry for help. Its yellow eyes softened for a moment. Zarn thought for a moment. "Maybe it's not evil," he said. "Maybe it's scared." He ordered the ship to lower weapons slightly. "Try to communicate." The human admiral nodded on their comms. "Agreed. We must understand before we destroy." The creature's energy slowed. It looked toward the human warship. The human sent out a peaceful signal. A soft light spread from the human ship toward the creature. Slowly, the creature stopped attacking. Zarn's crew held their breath. The creature spoke. Its voice was deep, echoing in the minds of everyone nearby. "I am not your enemy. I was imprisoned for a crime I did not commit. I seek only freedom." Zarn felt surprise. "What crime?" he asked. The creature answered, "Long ago, my people and yours fought a war. I was blamed for destroying a world, but I was set free because I am innocent." The humans and Varnock listened, stunned. The creature looked at the humans. "You guard me because you believe I am dangerous, but I ask you to help me prove my innocence." Zarn glanced at the admiral. The admiral's face was serious, but thoughtful. Zarn nodded slowly. "We will listen, but if you try to harm us again, we will fight." The creature lowered its hands. The battle stopped. In that moment, an uneasy peace settled over the ruins. But everyone knew this was only the beginning. The enemy fleet spread out before them like a dark storm. Hundreds of ships, bigger and more powerful than any Zarn and Carter had seen. The galaxy held its breath. Commander Zarn stood tall on the bridge of the Varnock ship. His heart beat fast, but his mind was clear. All weapons ready, shields up, focus on defense and teamwork. Admiral Reese Carter's voice rang out calmly but with power. Humans and Varnock together. We do not fight alone. We fight as one. The ancient creature floated nearby, its yellow eyes glowing fiercely. The weapon we found will turn the tide. Trust in it. The enemy ships fired first. Bright beams of energy lit up the darkness. The Alliance ships moved quickly, dodging attacks and returning fire. The ancient weapon activated on the human ship. A bright blue shield spread out, protecting the fleet from the worst attacks. Zarn led his ship close to the enemy. Target their command ship. If we take out their leader, the rest will fall. The battle was fierce. Explosions shook the ships. The crew worked as one, humans, Varnock, and Outer Rim allies side by side. Suddenly, a massive enemy ship broke through the shields and headed straight for the human warship. Zarn shouted, "All hands to defense! Protect the Admiral's ship!" The enemy ship fired a powerful blast. The blue shield flickered but held strong. The ancient weapon pulsed with energy, pushing back the blast. Admiral Carter stood firm, commanding his crew with calm strength. "We will not fall today." Zarn saw an opening. "Prepare boarding teams. We go on the enemy ship." The boarding teams moved quickly, fighting their way inside. The enemy crew was fierce, but the humans and Varnock were stronger together. Zarn faced the enemy commander in a final fight. The enemy was strong, but Zarn's courage and skill won the day. With the command ship captured, the enemy fleet began to retreat. The Alliance had won. Back on the human ship, the ancient creature floated beside Admiral Carter and Zarn. "Peace is possible when we stand together." Carter smiled. "The galaxy is safer because of humans and because of friends we never expected." Zarn looked out into space. "This is just the beginning. Together we will build a future without fear." The Alliance ships celebrated quietly. They had faced the darkness and won. The stars shone brighter than ever. A new day was coming.